Time for the main event. It's the Shoe Shine.
Oh man. Que onda, vatos locos? Where is my co-host Drew Evo? All the way from Philadelphia. Philly Irish Drew Evo is in the house. Que pasa, homie?
Jesus Christ, what the hell happened?
No, man, we had a glitch in the Matrix, man. And speaking of Matrix, man, Inoue, the monster. I think the guy's an interdimensional being, Drew. I'm gonna tell you why, because if you look at Inoue, it's like he can speed up and move ahead of you in time, and then he can move backwards in time too. I mean, he's a step ahead of you, he's a step behind you. You ain't gonna see what's coming with this guy anyway. And I think today, a lot of the haters, a lot of the doubters, a lot of people who never watched him finally shut the F up. And it was a hell of a fight. And I'm exhausted. And we're gonna have the Philly Irish perspective on a great fight today, even though it was one-sided. We're gonna hear all about it, Drew. So let's get cooking on another Shoe Shine. Drew, where do we start, man? Because we were supposed to be on the show last night, and I want to give a thank you for everyone just joining us, Sin City Syndicate. I know you're going to be in the house this weekend. You were going to be here. You better show up at the Palms. Michelle Monroe, thank you so much for coming by and showing me some love. Hello, everybody. Make sure you share this on your social media platform. Today is crazy with all the boxing shows, Drew. Relentless. Everybody's on. Crowded marketplace. But I got the co-host from Philadelphia representing. And Stephen Fulton, man, give me your hot take right now. Let's start with the show with the hot take, and then we'll get going back to last Friday night.
You know, like I was really looking forward to this fight. You know, I did pick Fulton. I was wrong on it. You know, I'm meaning to admit I was wrong on this, but as fight week approach, the fans start ruining the momentum of this fight. Like, they started fucking up the hype of this fight.
Right. There was, tell everybody about the controversy who may have not heard, but at the last minute, there was some speculation that Inoue was a cheat. At least that's what was going around.
Here's the thing. Like, the first thing, it was like somebody that works for Ring Magazine, has his own channel and everything. I listened to him a couple of times, watched him a couple of times and everything, saying that, you know, Inoue refused to enroll in Nevada and everything, and you know, he was arrogant. I guess the guy Inoue didn't want to do an interview, so he wanted to fucking bash him, I guess. But here's the thing. Let's debunk that statement right there. You go and say, and he should know right away, since he works for Ring Magazine, he should know the whole sanctioning body bullshit and everything, the rules and everything. If you don't enroll in Nevada and you're fighting for a WBC title, they would no longer sanction that fight, and that title would not be on the line, because it happened when Casamayor was supposed to fight Anito Donaire, and he refused to enroll in Nevada. So that, you know, that fight was called off because he refused, you know. So here's my take. And then you got other guys started, you know, the narrative, oh, he refused to enroll in Nevada. And I had to go see these stupid people and they wanted to put a narrative out. Oh, he didn't involve Nevada. Are you fucking? And I just had to ask, are you fucking stupid or something? Knowing that if you don't involve Nevada, there's no fucking fight.
Right. For people who don't know, VADA, the International Drug Testing Agency that has control over testing of the athletes, Drew makes a very valid point. Inoue was just coming off of being the undisputed 118-pound champion, meaning he had all 4 belts, and that includes the WBC, which has their own testing protocol called the CLEAN program, which is as strict, if not identical, to VADA, which tests boxers across the world. And Inoue, being the champion, has been enrolled in this program. And now let's talk about this. Inoue is now a 4-division champion. There was never going to be an issue with him being on dope, although they tried to spin a narrative at the last minute. But even then, there was this whole wrapping of the hands, which, guys, wrapping of the hands is a very serious issue. When it was brought up, I even gave a thought, and I discussed this with you. I said, listen, if there's any inkling or doubt, this is a serious issue, because in boxing history, we've seen a guy, Antonio Margarito from Mexico, who went on a rampage and destroyed and nearly killed Miguel Cotto, which at the time was unbeknownst to many people. He had been putting plaster or hardening the surface of his hand wrap. So when he hit you, it was like a plaster cast broke your face up. So this was a legitimate, I think, concern, but it got squashed and the fight went on. And today I found myself setting the alarm for 4:55 p.m. to watch this fight internationally. But let's give credit where credit is due, Drew, and that's to Stephen Fulton, who was the champion, flying all the way from Philadelphia to take on the monster.
I really gotta get this off my chest.
Please do.
Like, really. Like, if you look at it like this, when Team Fulton, when his trainer brought in the fact, hey, we recorded no rematch and everything, we recorded everything, but this was an issue. People were talked about boxing needs to be a safer sport. It has to be safer. Oh, the referee should have stopped it. Oh, that should have fight never happened then. But when somebody is trying to protect his fighter and looking out for him and bringing up a hand wrap issue, they all say, oh, he's looking for a way out. He's looking. And these are the same people that said boxing has to be a safer sport. Make your fucking mind up. Do you want boxing to be safe? Or when it comes to a PBC fighter or another type of fighter because of the race or something, you want to bring an issue up with it? Because both sides of the fence, the LDBC, say something that something about Inoue is on steroids, because they think, oh, Inoue is not going to be able to beat a black fighter or something and everything. But, oh, he's doing that. Fulton's looking for a way out and everything, man. Like, I'm tired of these American fighters and everything always making us look bad and everything. And I'm going to say this right now. The fans, you complain about the LDBC, but a lot of you aren't that much better than them. You guys do the same fucking shit as them. And some of these shows, they do the same fucking shit. They try to, and the fucked up thing is, they steal they have dumb motherfuckers giving them super chats and everything, fucking robbing them for fucking money because the fuckers stupid. They're agreeing with the fuckers. They're kissing ass and living to the points and everything.
Super chats, damn, they're making money like that. Yeah, Go ahead.
What I'm saying right now, these fans are the reason why the momentum of this fight, of this good fight, was taken away. Because after Inoue won, if Inoue was to win, which he did, they're going to say, oh, he's on steroids. If Fulton was to win, they're going to say,
he fought a smaller guy. He beat the small guy.
Here's the issue with that. It's a shame because these two, Inoue just became a 4-division champion. He's a 2-time unified champion and everything. Stephen Fulton deserves some fucking praise.
Oh, no, absolutely. I think he's getting the credit now, hours later. I started to see it on social media, of course, boxing Twitter.
A lot of people,
and well deserved.
A lot of people it's like, oh, take the loss of grace and everything. Let me tell you something. If he was gonna pull out Stephen Fulton, he would have never went to Japan and did that. Let's say that right now. So people say, oh, he's trying to pull out and everything. Shut the fuck up. This is why you're not on fucking YouTube, fucking talking shit, talking analysis about boxing and everything. And like, really, to tell you the truth, this fucking community is so fucking toxic and so fucking low IQ. It's not even fucking funny. But I'm saying
That's
this
why
right
we're
now,
fanatics.
man, it's fucked up because a guy jumped the fence from the PBC to go to top rank and fight the top guy because he beat everybody on the PBC stable and everything, man. And he took a challenge, and I think everybody needs to praise him for that. He lost, but he fucking dared to be great and take on potentially a top 3 pound-for-pound fighter now.
And potentially some people are saying he's number one. There's going to be people today, including ESPN, putting him at number one. By the way, shout out to everybody just joining us. Appreciate you coming in the room. Ryan Thomas is in here now. And I saw Nando, our boy Nando, Drew, to keep the show light and funny for a quick second, man. Did you know that Nando has a restaurant? Did you know that?
Yeah, I'm co-owner of it.
Apparently, it's big with the greatest woman of all time boxer and Sonny Edwards were spotted at Nando's. Check that out, Drew. And who knew that these two were an item?
Wow.
Yeah, man. By the way, shout out to the Boxing Voice. I heard that they are going to have Alicia Baumgartner at their viewing party this Saturday, Drew. Well, ain't that something? You could have gone to that viewing party, man. And shout out to everybody who is in Las Vegas, either lives here or is coming to the... I feel the electricity is here. People were telling me head down to MGM. Today was the Terrence Crawford and Spence. They had the opening day, and there was quite a big crowd, man. So I'm excited about what's going to develop for the rest of the week, Drew. But we're talking about Inoue and Fulton. Drew, naturally, he's a 4-division champion. People were comparing him to Manny Pacquiao. Some people took great offense saying, don't compare two Asian guys because they're Asian guys. Well, I mean, it's a very easy analogy to make, man. Manny Pacquiao started literally at minimum weight and just skyrocketed through all these divisions to be the legend that he was. Stylistically, they're not the same. To be honest, Inoue is technically flawless. And this was something that Manny Pacquiao, he wasn't. He had his own unique style. But we did see a punch today. When you watch that back in slow motion, Drew, the 3-punch combination that put Fulton down, the athleticism, the sheer athleticism in Inoue is out of this world. It reminds me of Manny Pacquiao flying through the air and throwing Superman punches. That left hook that he landed after the jab to the body, right hand up top, and then a flying feet off the ground hook that landed right square on his chin, man. That is some crazy shit. And that's why I said the Matrix today. He reminds me of some interdimensional being. Yeah.
I gotta bring something up like that. Then when he got hit with that, and I was talking to someone about it earlier, his hands hit the ground. That's a knockdown. And he got hits again by he got hit again. That should have never happened. And I think the referee should have called it a knockdown because his hands landed on the ground when he got punched and he got hit again. And a lot of people ain't talking about it. I want to talk about it, but I think that should have been a knockdown right there. And he should have got a little bit more time to recover from it since he took the extra shot and everything. But it is what it is. Like, I didn't give Fulton any rounds in this fight. I think it was a terrible game plan. I don't know why his team came up with that game plan with Inoue's style. I thought it, like, a guy that moves as much as Inoue does and gives you angles, you wanted to go with a slow-paced fight and a more defensive fight instead of trying to set up with your jab and set up with combos and counter punches, because you had to be on point with your counter punching. And one of the point is to be good with the jab, to set them up to throw it so you can throw a counter shot and everything. And it was a terrible game plan all around. That was part of the reason why he lost. And the other part was Inoue was just goddamn special. And he was terrific. He was the more slick fighter. He was the guy outboxing Fulton and everything. He was setting up the jab and then getting inside when Fulton could have countered him when
Mm-hmm.
he went inside with an uppercut and did not do it, and Inoue was able to get the shots off. He was able to cut the ring off at will. This was really one sided.
It really was,
And
Drew. Not everybody felt that Fulton was going to lose. You know, even his team coach, like I talked about how I ran into Jay Santos, the son of Bob Santos. Bob Santos has quite the stable right now. He predicted Fulton was going to outbox Inoue, and that's a very respectable one of the top coaches in the country right now. Lots of people thought that, but I think they underestimated the monster.
here's the issue. It wasn't like they underestimated. It was like a bad game plan. Like, if the plan was you need to outbox anyway, but the thing about it is you have to do angles and everything. He wasn't being slick at all. And that's the issue right there. He was not giving Inoue no angles to work with.
Well, I think clearly early on it was very evident in rounds 1 and 2. Then eventually Fulton tried to make an adjustment, Drew, but he was gun shy, man, because he was getting beat to the punch. And every time he did try, and he did land some successful jabs and right hands, but he paid for it. And that made him hold back, and he just could not let his hands go. When he did have success is when he did let his hands go, but he was countered much more effectively. And of course, he was punished ultimately for it, as Inoue was slowly breaking him down with body shots and stuff like that. He was breaking him down slowly, setting him up.
Yeah, like, this was really a masterclass display in my eyes, man. And it is a shame, man, that these fans just downplayed it. This, like, fucked up the groove of this good fight, man, on paper and everything, man. It really pisses me off, man. Like, fans bring race up into this shit, man. Like, can we not bring race up for once in boxing when having a debate, a conversation, and everything? Does everything have to do with race?
I
Or
hope
is it
not.
that?
I hate that shit too, Drew.
Or is it that you're really at fucking low IQ and fucking stupid? That's all you can do is fucking put up a fucking race conversation. Like, I'm tired of it. Like, I'm stressed out even enough outside of this and everything. But when I come up here Monday night, or when I come up here looking at tweets and everything of stupid fucking takes of people with race and stupid fucking takes that somebody's on steroids and everything, somebody's trying to pull out, or somebody's trying to protect somebody and everything and getting fucking stopped and everything, it's fucked up. I'm tired of it. Like, why can these good fights are being made finally, and what's going on? The fucking fans are fucking destroying the groove and downplaying this shit. And this is why one of the reasons why boxing is in the state it's fucking in. The shit gotta stop, and it doesn't help when you have content creators fucking fueling the bullshit too. And I'm fucking tired of that too. Like seriously, everybody have your own fucking mindset on how you fucking view the fucking sport of boxing. Stop being followers. Be your individual and fucking think the sport in your own way, man. That's how you're gonna fucking know your shit about boxing. God damn.
Cheers to my homeboy Fonzie and Carol. Carol says she's gonna miss the fight. That's new sad. I'm gonna miss the fight. Carol, as you guys saw in our video, we went with Fonzie and them to the Cosmopolitan just last week, and we're looking forward to seeing you at the Senisa Estrada fight this Friday, which they're building as the pre-party to the big Spence Crawford fight. I am excited. Carol, figure it out and get down there. By the way, if you guys want to chime in on anything we're talking about, 702-710-3627. Cheers to everybody. Shout out to Ruli Ramundo for joining us. Inoue, Drew, from here, he's going to be fighting, it looks like they brought in the Filipino champion who has the other 2 belts, Tapales, who won his 2 belts in a major upset earlier this year. And it looks very likely that they will make that fight by the end of the year, which is going to potentially make Inoue, the monster, not only a undisputed champ at 118, but the undisputed champ, all but certain to become the undisputed champ at 122, which would be, well, let's put it this way. If Spence and Crawford this weekend results with Terrence Crawford winning the fight, Terrence Crawford will be the first professional boxer to be undisputed in 2 weight classes. Something that can, if he does pull that off, be replicated in the same calendar year. in the era of 4 belt champions, man, this is unheard of that we might potentially have 2 guys set that record this year. That's unfreaking believable. Not only that, Drew, but Robeisy Ramirez, the Cuban gold medalist, fought on the card, and I still didn't get to watch his fight. Ryan Thomas was telling me, make sure I watch that fight. I didn't have time to follow up on that fight, Drew. But they usually at Top Rank, they're very good about putting guys that they want to show you as potential opponents. Inoue, I don't think he'd go this far in weight, but obviously Pacquiao set the precedent. And I think it's all but certain by 2024, he'll be in the featherweight division. And one of the guys that I love so much at featherweight, it's at Top Rank, is El Venado Lopez, the Mexicali fighter, who also has one of the titles. Robeisy Ramirez has one of the titles. And I just got word, we got word of who El Venado Lopez will be fighting on Mexican Independence Day weekend. Will feature our boy Ruben Villa from Salinas on the card. That, like I just said, Top Rank, that says a lot about who they want to set up. Ruben Villa beat El Venado Lopez on Showtime when they were unknown fighters during Showbox. So there's a potential now. I'm seeing that Ruben Villa looks great. Now, he may be getting a shot. And I'm going to show you guys who he'll be fighting. But Drew, at 126, what are your thoughts on Inoue moving up to 126?
I'll be honest, doing this one step at a time. Like you got, he's at 122 now. Mm-hmm. Let's worry about him conquering 122, because do we see him moving up to 126 once he goes undisputed in this 122? Probably. To become a 5 division weight champion. But here's the thing, I don't see him going no more than maybe 130 at most.
I can see it happening, Drew. And I just mentioned El Venado Lopez, featherweight titleist here at Top Rank. He's going to be facing Youet Gonzalez, who earned this opportunity. Now the second time Youet Gonzalez will be attempting to fight for a featherweight championship. He earned it. He bounced back after getting just outschooled, just outclassed by Shakur Stevenson. I was at that fight in Reno years back. He's getting another shot September 15th, Mexican Independence Day. And Drew, I honestly believe there's no way Youet Gonzalez gets past El Venado Lopez, which sets up I think the stage is set, man, for in 2024, we could potentially be seeing in the early part of 2024, Inoue, undisputed bantamweight champ, super bantamweight, 122 champ, moving up to 126, potentially fighting Luis Alberto Lopez first, followed by Robeisy Ramirez. One way or another, I think we will definitely see Inoue become a featherweight champ. Shout out to everybody joining us in the room again. Mom Food, what's up, homegirl? Our homegirl Mom Food is in the house. Hello to you. All right. As far as Fulton, Drew, speaking of featherweights, I think it's clear, man, that he's going to be a good featherweight. Whether or not he'll get an opportunity to fight for a title at featherweight is potentially possible, because Ray Vargas at PBC, he went back to 126, Drew. And I think it's very possible that they can make that fight in-house with a win or two, a good win or two at the featherweight division, that we may see Stephen Fulton get an opportunity at a crack at Ray Vargas. I think Ray Vargas will not cross the pond and fight anybody at Top Rank.
I really think that a Brandon Figueroa rematch happens before a Ray Vargas fight.
Very possible. A lot of people thought, and by the way, people still think that Brandon Figueroa pulled off the win against Fulton and did not get the nod. And there was some of that bullshit this weekend, whether you disagree or not agree. I think we can all agree that on televised ESPN, we saw the return of George Cumbosos versus Maxie Hughes, a guy that typically we see fight on DAZN, that app you got to pay for in the UK, Drew. And those judges, some of those judges will be working the fight this weekend in Las Vegas. A complete bullshit card. Right before we get to that, hold your horses, Drew. I want to talk about what happened on Friday. I want to give a big shout out to Thompson Boxing, local Thompson Boxing of Southern California, a local promotion company that is basically Timothy Bradley, Josecito Lopez, the list of great club fighters that emerged and went on to bigger and greater things, including becoming world champions. Go check them out. Last Friday on YouTube was their last show. Thompson Boxing, not only did we lose we lost some great people this weekend. We lost Tony Bennett, man. I said I left my heart in San Francisco too. But they lost the owner of Thompson Boxing, left the business to their kids, and it doesn't look that their children have the same passion. So this thing, they're a building materials company in Southern California, and they ended the club show on YouTube, Drew. And this is very sad, guys, because I just got to remind you how deadly the sport of boxing is. All right, this got very little news, but on Thompson Boxing, Eddie Valencia, a fighter out of Sinaloa, Culiacan, Drew, maybe you didn't even hear about it because I didn't mention it to you. But Eddie Valencia is a guy that recently fought. He fought, I think, 4 to 6 times this year already. He comes, he works. He fought El Yuyu Acosta of Long Beach, a Thompson local favorite, a very good featherweight contender. And Drew, he's fighting for his life. Eddie Valencia on the show on Friday night suffered what appears to be brain damage, and he's still in critical condition. So this barely made any news. This was going to be this is the last fight Thompson Boxing ever put on. And it's a travesty and a shame, but comes with the territory that a fighter was injured to the point where we could lose him. We could lose them. So please, guys, keep this fighter in your prayers and your thoughts. Eddie Valencia. I saw him recently perform quite admirably on Lou DiBella's promotional company. You know that Lou DiBella puts on shows in New York. And Lou DiBella put him up against that Mongolian fighter. Y'all heard when Ryan Garcia was training to fight Gervonta Tank Davis, a Mongolian Olympic fighter came out and was like, I am sorry, Ryan, that I hurt you. And Ryan was like, oh, man, why did the sparring camp guy had to fucking open his mouth? Well, that guy, Eddie Valencia, fought, and his name is so hard, Erdenbrat, the guy that hurt Ryan Garcia's sparring partner. Eddie Valencia just fought him and got this opportunity on Thompson Boxing. And he didn't take those knockdowns very well, guys. And then we're just reminded all the time how dangerous this sport is. You don't play in the sport. And every time these guys go, whether it's a club promotion or the most elite fighters that we've seen today, you know, in a pound-for-pound fighter like Inoue, someone could lose their life. So please keep them in your prayers. Now, ESPN, Drew, this Saturday night was some bullshit. Cumbosos came back after losing twice to Devin Haney. They want to feed it to us like he's like Luda. Speaking of Ludabella, they want to feed it to us like Cumbosos still got a shot at lightweight, man. And he got a gift decision. Y'all see that fight?
That was fucking terrible. That was like fucking seriously.
Let me see if I can get the scorecard up.
I picked Maxie Hughes. I
think you did. You and shout out to Lukey Boxing. Both of you guys said Maxie Hughes was going to pull off the upset. Very difficult to come across, you know, as travel like he did to come up with these scorecards. Look at these ridiculous scorecards, Drew. They're awful. They're awful. And I think David Sutherland gets the nod. Yeah, Ryan says it makes me nervous for the Spence Crawford fight now because David Sutherland, as I mentioned, he got the nod. He will be one of the judges in Saturday night's card. And David Sutherland had Cumbosos winning. Not only that, Drew, one of the judges that had Devin Haney beating Lomachenko will also be a judge in Weisfield?
Like, you know, man, like I kind of talked to you and say, yo, I can really see them robbing Crawford of decision, but I don't think this is going to the decision, be honest. But I just like it. This was clearly a Cumbosos loss. He clearly lost his fight. I had it 116 to 112.
Right.
Hughes. Like I was halfway asleep when I watched it the first time. It scored a draw, but when I woke up, I watched it again with no commentary, and I got my right score 116, 112. Maxie Hughes. I think Cumbosos really looked like Cam Booty, but like I look at it like this, man, like really, I know you signed the guy to a 3-fight deal, but the dude fucking lost. You guys are supposed to be the best matchmakers and everybody's favorite boxing company, because you guys are the best matchmakers and everything, and then you put this corruption bullshit on. Like, seriously, man, I know you guys want to feed him to Shakur or Lomachenko and everything, but He has no fucking shot. He's a C-level
even
fighter.
Shakur said, man, the guy stank. I don't want anything to do. Don't present Cumbosos to me as an opponent. We got our boy, is it Nando? Nando, are you on the line?
A C-level fighter.
Hey, what's up, Dave? What's up, dude?
What up, Nando?
My boy Drew, man, wake his ass up.
Yeah, yeah. Let me read this real quick, Nando, because this was Cumbosos' words, because he thought he won. He says, a close fight is not a robbery. Listen, it was a close, gritty victory against a top 10 lightweight and IBO world champion, and my return fight went straight into a tough test instead of taking a stiff. Do yourself a favor and mute that biased commentary and rewatch the fight. Yes, I think 117, 111 was far too off for a scorecard, but I don't control the judge's view and the effective aggression they're seeing. But an 8-4-7-5 decision my way was right. Oh, first of all, Nando, you have a restaurant that's being patronized by Clarissa Shields and Sonny Edwards. Did you see that picture?
I got pictures? What?
You missed it? You missed this?
No, I was at Chicano's right now. I was on Chicano's podcast right now.
Oh, yeah. Here it is. It's Nando's, and it's patronized by Clarissa Shields and Sonny Edwards, that many people say are a hot item right now.
Hey, man, a little fever is good for you, man.
I don't know if there's any truth to that.
Yeah,
but
man,
anyways.
Nando didn't tell you I own 50% of that restaurant?
Anyways, Nando, this is a perfect time. And shout out to Chicano Prophet, by the way. I know everyone's doing a show, and I appreciate you for coming over here. But your thoughts on this Inoue, the monster, man, because this was a tough loss. It's very difficult for Philadelphia people to accept it. Now we're down to essentially to Boots Ennis, Drew, to pick up the mantle. But what are your thoughts on that, Nando?
I like to be a little bit of a skeptic. You know, I want to come a skeptic when it came to Inoue. But this fight, because I respect Stephen Fulton, man. He's a tough champion. He shows a lot of heart going to Japan to even take this fight, right?
For real.
So this type of victory over Fulton, this type of victory over somebody like Stephen Fulton, that legitimizes Inoue to me. You know, I think Inoue is special. The way he dominated that fight was reminiscent of Barrera versus Pacquiao in San Antonio a long time ago, man. Like that's when Pacquiao became legitimized to me. You know, when he knocked out Barrera in the way he did, that's when I knew Pacquiao was legitimate.
Yeah, definitely. And I got to tell you guys, so I set the alarm at exactly 5, and I'm like in a complete stupor. I put this thing on my phone and rolled over and started watching it on ESPN Plus.
Me too, exact same thing, bro. Me too. Exact same
and
thing.
I was blown away on my phone by the cinematography, and I tweeted, I said, this shit looks like a movie. It looks like I'm about to watch Rocky. You know, it reminded me of Rocky Draco. It reminded me of the Karate Kid going to Japan. It reminded me of a Godzilla. It was just cinematic. It was like it was truly an event, a spectacle about to happen. And I have to tip my hat off to the Japanese fan base because Paulie Malignaggi said in a lot of other countries, and he's gone to other countries to fight, they'll straight boo you. They get the F out, like go, but the Japanese people gave Stephen Fulton a standing ovation. Drew, did you catch that? Did you see they gave him a standing ovation? They recognized the warrior he is to come across over here to fight their guy, and I think that's admirable. International. That's just, it says a lot about the sport globally.
Like they gave him respect. And then, like, he showed up and took the fight. Like, he could have just stayed on PBC and be A-sides to everything, but knowing that, hey, he's a bigger name, there's more money to be made fighting him, and he wants to have a challenge, he told Uncle Al, I'm going over there and taking a good paycheck, and I'm going to fight the best at under 130 pounds. And every 130, So, I think that nobody beats Inoue under 130 pounds. It just, the only ones that were able to have a shot at him were Donaire and Fulton, and he beaten both of them. He stopped both of them.
Well, I'm curious about, Nando, what are your thoughts, man? First of all, let's just go to featherweight, because I don't know if we'll see Inoue eventually at 130. Maybe. I think he beats a lot of guys there, but just stopping at featherweight, Nando, you think he beats Elvanado Lopez, Robeisy Ramirez, both fighters at Top Rank?
I think he kind of brought up earlier today, Dave, one of your tweets, and I kind of had the same thought. Top Rank's been loading up on featherweight for a while now. I think the whole idea was to bring Inoue up to featherweight, and to kind of legitimize him for like the American fan base. He has to fight a Mexican champion. You know what I mean? If they actually bring him out here to Las Vegas or whatever, they have to put him across from a Mexican. It's just the way it is. It's just how boxing works, right? And I think Ronaldo would be the perfect opponent, man. It makes for a good fight. I know a lot of people would like to go see it, if they decide to bring him to the United States, that's a great fight. And I agree with Drew. The only guy that could have had really have a chance against him, but he moved up in weight, was Navarrete. If he would have stayed at 126, that's still a 50-50 fight, in my opinion, man.
Interesting.
Navarrete,
You think Navarrete?
He's got some margarito in him. Yeah, Navarrete would have given him a bit of fits. He's awkward, aggressive. He gets up. When he gets knocked down, he gets up and fights harder.
As does Elvinado Lopez. Elvinado Lopez is particularly.
So, I mean, that's a good fight.
Well, I think it's a brilliant fight stylistically, and I agree with you that they need to make Inoue, who is a star in his country, to make him a crossover star to all the boxing fan base, and that includes Mexicans and Mexican Americans. He does have to fight some of the best Mexican talent, and there's a lot of that at featherweight. Ironically, though, some of the experts don't agree with me. They don't think that a boxer, I think he has an easy job with Elvinado Lopez, but there are other people that think the awkwardness of a brawler puncher like Elvinado Lopez, or like you pointed out, Navarrete, are the kind of fighters that are going to give Inoue problems. Drew?
I think he rose past Lopez. Navarrete could be a problem maybe for 3 or 4 rounds, and I think he figures out the awkwardness and goes with his angles and goes with body shots. Like if you watch him fight in some of his fights, he easily catches on within the first 4 rounds of what you're doing, your pattern, your time, and times you, and is able to come up with a perfect game plan how to stop you in certain ways. And I think he does that. I think he figures out all these guys completely within 4 rounds. And here's the thing. While he's doing that, he's winning the rounds still because he's doing his normal punch rate and his normal offensive attack. And he's still winning rounds with it. It's not like he's a slow starter. He's a guy that's a fast starter. He stays on you. He figures you out. He tries to throw some shit at you to see what you bite against and what you don't bite against. And then he just when he finds out what you're going to do, he takes you out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's pivot into a couple of news items before we talk about Terrence Crawford and obviously Errol Spence is the biggest welterweight fight. Not unification, undisputed. We haven't seen this since Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard in, I think, 1981. They rightfully said it's been almost 40 years since we've seen a welterweight showdown like this. If somebody's going to walk away as the undisputed king of the welterweight division this weekend. But this weekend, Nando, we talked about the Cumbosos fight. I think Drew said he was falling asleep, but the funniest shit to me is how Mark Kriegel and Timothy Bradley can't stand each other. Did you catch this? These nuts? This shit is hilarious. Shout out to Boxing Vitals because I think I may have got this from your... But These Nuts is a character. That guy here, These Nuts, in the Spider-Man outfit, is a guy that walks on Fremont Street in downtown Las Vegas. And Timothy Bradley, here's a clip of Timothy Bradley's just trying to have fun.
These Nuts.
I'm gonna knock you out. Oh man, Mark Kriegel's pretty. I'm gonna knock out Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley's just trying to have fun, man. These guys, they need to. When the fight's that bad, Cumbosos, man, they have to do something. Was that this week? What was that? Was that today? I don't even know, man. But thank you guys for sending me the D's nuts shit. That shit is hilarious. The other thing in the news, Drew, that I wanted to talk about that I still haven't got a chance to watch, and everyone's telling me I've got to watch it, is the Oscar De La Hoya documentary that was released by HBO on HBO Max. It's a 2-part documentary. Have you got to start to watch it, Drew? Is anybody in the chat watching that documentary? Because it reveals a lot of juicy, sensational shit.
Minus the cross-dressing.
Nando, are you watching it? Did you watch it yet?
I need to get around to it, dude. Yeah, I'll watch it. I haven't watched it yet, though. What have you seen, Dave? What caught your eye?
What caught my eye? Okay, so as we all know, we've all joked. Everyone always jokes at Oscar's expense, but Oscar wanted to make a point, apparently, when he told journalists to talk about the infamous 2007 fishnet incident, and he wanted to. That was one of the major things he wanted to reveal. It cost him. He was extorted by the escort for $20 million. $20 million to make the story go away. It involved the Russian mob. He paid the $20 million, hoping it to go away. And it was leaked anyways, guys. It was leaked anyways. Everybody thought it. He had a whole publicist team trying to get the story out because he said it would ruin his image. He was still fighting. It would ruin the Golden Boy brand and everything. So then afterwards, after being extorted for $20 million and paying this woman that and still being released to the public, they hired experts, photography experts, I don't know, forensics experts, highly credible forensics experts, to say that the pictures were doctored up. All right. And there went the narrative that Oscar wasn't actually in the fishnets, that these pictures were doctored up. It only gets worse, only for the woman who he had paid $20 million for to file a lawsuit for $100 million for defamation, that she got another settlement. And I need to see all the details. So I will be watching it this week. I will find time to squeeze it in to find out all. That's just some of the sensational shit in this Oscar De La Hoya documentary, which people say was really good. It premiered at the Sundance Festival, Drew. So Nando, that's what piqued my interest. Oscar comes clean, but come on, man. Look, 2023, wearing fishnets, that's hardly freaky shit, is it? Isn't it? I mean, like, I went to Let me put it this way. I went to Trader Joe's in Henderson this past weekend, and I said, where are the bathrooms? And I went to the bathrooms, and I was looking for the men's room, and there was 2 doors, and the door said, pick your gender. The door said, pick your gender, bro. I'm looking for the men's room, and it said, pick your gender. Or maybe it didn't. I'm not going to get sued by time. I think it said any gender. Yeah.
Hey Dave, have you ever been to the Fulton Street Fair in San Francisco? You see crazier shit than that, man.
Oh well, I grew up in San Francisco, so going to Halloween in San Francisco. Yeah, Halloween in San Francisco was an international thing, and it was in the Castro, and the entire city descended on it, and you just grew up used to everything. Everything was acceptable. Nothing was out of the ordinary. So, by today's standards, hey, I applaud Oscar De La Hoya for finally coming clean and saying, hey, I had a substance abuse issue. I still battle. Once an addict, always an addict. Alcohol, drugs, cocaine, and, I like to do freaky shit. I don't even know what I'm doing when I'm fucked up.
Women's clothes.
Let that free flag fly, man. Who cares?
Exactly. Who cares, man? Who cares?
Could have been one of his boxing entrance outfits.
Exactly. All right, so I'll get around to watching that. Maybe you guys will too. I see Chicano Prophet says he started to watch it and that it's excellent. So yeah, like I said, Sundance Film Festival said it was going to be great stuff. Yeah, Chicano Prophet says, great documentary. I enjoyed it. I will watch it this week. All right, everyone is starting to descend on the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas. I know some of you watching here live here, and it's exciting. We have Friday night. I'll be at the Top Rank fight. I got a message from our friend In the Ring with Christine saying that she's coming with Nika, her co-host. They're going to be here this weekend too. That's awesome. So if anybody's going to be in town, or if going to be Friday night or Saturday night, hit me up on Instagram. Let me know what your plans are. Maybe we could have a drink. That being said, Drew, the biggest welterweight showdown in over 40 years. I just said Hagler versus Sugar Ray Leonard, number 1, happened in Las Vegas at Caesars in July in the hot sun, and it's been 110 degrees plus every freaking day. 15 rounds when the temperature's over 100 degrees, man. Things sure were different in boxing, but this weekend everyone can kick it at the T-Mobile, and it's time for some predictions. I'm even gonna include you, Nando. Drew, what's going to happen in this fight? The card is great, man. First of all, Isaac Cruz is fighting a guy, Giovanni Cabrera, that is towering over Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz as the co-main, and Nonito Donaire, who I did not get to see fight a couple weeks ago. Nonito Donaire will be going for a title at 118 again. He's had this title many times before. At the age of 40. These are three great fights right now, Drew. Does Nonito Donaire become champion at the age of 40 years old once more, cementing his legacy? Yes, Nando?
Yes, he does.
Nando, does Nonito Donaire win against the Mexican opponent to win that 118 title once more?
I'm always backing the homie from San Leandro, man, all day long, man. Nonito Donaire, man, by knockout.
Nonito Donaire by knockout. And guys, I really was let down not seeing him fight at the Cosmopolitan, but you know what? There'll be more eyes on this fight, so congratulations to him and his team, and also a Vegas local now, from the Bay to Las Vegas, just like me. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Nonito Donaire by knockout becomes a 40-year-old 118-pound champion once more, and I think he retires. It's just me. It's just my gut feeling. I don't know anything. I say there's nothing left to do in the sport of boxing. He's amassed great wealth and respect and will be an instant first-round Hall of Fame fighter in my eyes. Perfectly good time to hang them up, man. There's no reason. As I just pointed out earlier today, we saw this fighter, Eddie Valencia, with sustained brain damage. There's no point in going on when you've already accomplished everything there is in the sport, Drew. Second fight, Isaac Cruz. This one's a little bit harder to call, man, because we've seen Isaac Cruz against Gervonta Tank Davis. The only guy recently, some people think Isaac Cruz deserved the nod. He went the distance with Gervonta Tank Davis, and he's fighting a much larger opponent in Giovanni Cabrera. I'll start with you, Nando. Have you seen this guy, Giovanni Cabrera, fight? Our boy Lukey Boxing is very high on him.
That Cabrera, isn't that the guy that fought, a tough fight with, with Francisco El Gallo? Was that the guy?
I think it is. I think it is. Anybody beat him. But he's just towering. I mean, he's towering. Not that it matters much. You know, we've seen smaller guys just work taller fighters. And I give benefit of the doubt to Isaac Cruz, who trains in Mexico City. And the elevation in Mexico City is among the highest, like 7,500 feet in elevation. That gives Isaac Cruz a tremendous gas tank. But I'm going to go with my gut feeling on this, man. I think there's going to be an upset, and Giovanni Cabrera pulls off an upset this Saturday, handing Isaac Cruz a defeat. And I might actually put money on that one, Drew, because I think he's not favored. That would be considered an upset. So I'm going with Giovanni Cabrera in the upset against Isaac Cruz. And Isaac Cruz has a lot to lose, Drew. A rematch with Gervonta Tank Davis, potentially. A fight with Ryan Garcia that he failed to materialize himself. He's talking about it this week. He's already overlooking his opponent, saying, hey, you know what would be great? It would be great if I fought Ryan Garcia. He had that chance. What do you think? Isaac Cruz?
I think I'm picking Cabrera because I really think the reach is going to be too much for Isaac Cruz. Like, I think the reach is going to be too much. I think Cabrera's going to be not taking many risks and use his reach and force Isaac to try to get inside. And I don't think he's going to be able to. Like, you're not going to be able to hurt Isaac, but
No.
but you can't keep him at bay the whole time, because his only thing is he wants to bang. And I don't think Cabrera's going to let him in the bang. So I'm picking Cabrera. I don't think this is an upset because I don't think too highly of him, of Isaac Cruz. I think like he thinks, he took Tank to the distance. I had it a draw, by the way, but he's hoping for that Tank Davis rematch where he dunked other fighters, including Shakur Stevenson and Ryan Garcia. So yeah, I think Cabrera beats him. I think the reach is too much for him.
All right. Main event.
Hey, my bad, dude.
Yeah.
My bad, Dave. He beat Gabe Flores in his last fight. Cabrera beat Gabe Flores in his last fight.
Okay, that's who we saw. Against. All right. Well, it's on to the main event, guys. Terrence Crawford. This fight, for years, we thought it would never have a Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. The truth, Errol Spence had this horrific car accident. Terrence Crawford is always in shape. I remember seeing Errol Spence in December at the Cosmopolitan. He looked like he was close to 200 pounds. They were fat shaming him. He's in phenomenal shape. But are these guys in their prime, and does it even matter? Nando, who are you betting? If you had to put money on it, because I know California don't let you bet, but if you had to put money on this one, who are you going with?
I'm going to bet Spence. It's a 50-50 fight. No matter how you look at it, I'm not going to disrespect Bud at all, but I think I have Spence by late round stoppage. I think he kind of repeats what he did against Hughes, goes to the body consistently, and eventually wears out the little bit smaller Bud out in the 10th or 11th round.
Yeah, Paulie Malignaggi, who I respect a lot, his commentary at least, he really does feel a lot, and as do a lot of people say this is a great 50-50 matchup. And in that Hagler-Hearns, I'm sorry, not Hagler. I keep saying Hagler, but Tommy the Hitman, right? Versus Sugar Ray Leonard. They went back and forth, and it really did change. The fight changed through the midway. So you see it this way, potentially that it'll be 50-50 for a while until Errol Spence takes over. Nando?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to Drew. My bad. Yeah, dude. I mean, look, I think Bud has to start fast in the early rounds because you can't because Spence is kind of like a snowball, man. Once he gets going, he's hard to stop. He's got a good chin. I think he has a better chin than Bud because Bud has been wobbled more than once.
Yeah, he has
I've never
been.
seen Spence wobble. No, I've never seen Spence wobbles on.
We've seen
Bud has been.
Kavalauskas.
He's been blocked by Kavalauskas. Yes.
Yeah, we definitely have seen him wobbled once before, or if not more than a handful of times, maybe at the most. But I'm concerned that Errol Spence is not going to make the adjustments. I'm going to give my opinion real quick, man. I think Terrence Crawford is a generational fighter, just like Inoue has been getting the praise today that he's a once in a generation type fighter. He's already been undisputed champ at 140 pounds, multi-division champion. His legacy is cemented. Errol Spence is just a guy that has won 2 titles in one weight division. It is really only made his name at the welterweight division. That's why when we talk about pound for pound fighters, I include Terrence Crawford up there as one of the top because he's shown that ability to continue to fight at the next weight class, the very best cream of the crop, and succeed at the highest level. And that's because of his unique gift sets, man. The guy can box equally from the left as a southpaw and from the orthodox position, and he always makes adjustment. And when I finally got to see him fight for the first time against an aging Sean Porter, Drew, Sean Porter did remarkably well in the early part of the fight. He was actually winning that fight. And I think that's what's going to happen this Saturday night is that we're going to see Errol Spence work the jab and work the looks until Terrence Bud Crawford takes over because he can give him so many different looks. And I think he's going to target some of those weak spots. And some of those weak spots that I'm talking about that Errol Spence has is one of them is repaired eye. This is a mean dude. Terrence Crawford is a mean guy in the ring. And I don't see why he wouldn't take advantage of anything to hurt Errol Spence. And I actually got it the other way. I think it's going to be Terrence Crawford ending this fight by a knockout and stopping Errol Spence in the later rounds. That's going to make it exciting. And I like the fact that other people think Errol Spence is going to win by knockout. It really is a 50-50 fight. But I've always thought for many years that Errol Spence was not as good as Terrence Crawford. And Terrence Crawford will be undisputed this Saturday. And I even think that we might, when that does happen, that we will see Terrence Bud Crawford move up to 154 pounds and fight for a world title. And I mean, like, what more is there to accomplish? If you become undisputed champion in 2 weight divisions, but move up one more time before you set off into the sunset and try to get one more belt at 154. That's the way I see it. Drew Evo, talk to me, man.
Look at the statistic right now. One fight in the past 3 years. The inactivity of Errol Spence is going to play a big part of this fight. He was hurt against Ugas, but I'm looking at it like this. The first 4 rounds are going to be 50-50. Once round 4 ends, Terence Crawford demonstrates how great he is. And Terence Crawford has all the tools to make this a one-sided fight. And I believe this will be more of a one-sided fight after 4 rounds in favor of Terence Crawford, because here's the thing. Errol Spence's key to victory is he has to get inside. And what happens when he gets inside? Terence Crawford is a terrific counterpuncher. He tries to go inside. Terence Crawford will counter with that uppercut to that right eye. Every time he tries to get inside, Terence Crawford will counter with an uppercut. And then with a 2-punch combination. Terence Crawford, ring IQ, is going to lead him to an 11th round stoppage of Errol Spence. And he will become the first to be undisputed in 2 weight classes. And Terence Crawford will be, after Saturday night, the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world, the best fighter in the world as we speak. And I think nobody can take that away from him. Because even though Terence Crawford may not be in his prime anymore, and I believe that this fight is 4 years too late. Terence Crawford is only 2 years older than Errol Spence. And Terence Crawford has been more active than Errol Spence. Terence Crawford's ring IQ and counter-punching ability and footwork ends this fight in the 11th round and dominates after 4 rounds of this fight.
Dang, me and Drew got it. And Ruli's reminding us that Drew did predict a Josh Taylor win versus Lopez. I've gotten him plenty of them wrong too, but Drew and I are on the same page. Nando, I appreciate your opinion about Errol Spence. I see here that our boy Ryan said that there was 4,900 votes cast on PBC's Twitter poll, and it ended at 49-51 in favor of Crawford. Such a razor-thin fight. And I just hope that the pay-per-view numbers speak to that fact that this is a fantastic stylistic matchup. It's for undisputed. We've waited for years. Now we've got it. Is it a little too late? Well, it's not as late as Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. That fight was garbage. So I'm happy, better late than never. But I don't think either of these guys are in their prime. Like this fight, remember I was just talking about this fight, but these guys were in their prime 100% when they fought. 22 years old and 25 with Sugar Ray Leonard in Las Vegas. I think they were 22 years old and 25 when they fought for the first time. So, all right, man. And this Friday night, not to be outdone, Top Rank is showcasing super bad Senisa Estrada, Drew. She will be taking on, I just mentioned that this is at the Palms, and I've never seen a fight at the Palms. She'll be fighting WBC. She's the WBC and WBA minimum weight champion. She'll be fighting Leonela Judica from, I believe, Argentina, a former world champion herself with only one loss. And Top Rank is really, DAZN, Golden Boy Oscar let her go. Top Rank picked her up. A lot of people think very highly of her, not only what she's accomplished in the ring, but that she'll be a fantastic commentator, as she's already begun doing women's commentary.
But you know what? I think it was a mistake by Golden Boy to let her go in favor of Marina Esparza, because I think she's way better than Esparza.
Yes.
I think Marina Esparza is horrible.
She didn't do too well recently. I've never seen Senisa Estrada. I've never seen Senisa Estrada in a bad fight. And I'm going to get the pleasure to see her. I'm also looking forward to, we're talking about Bay Area people in Sacramento. Xavier Martinez, who started his career off at PBC and Showbox. Xavier Martinez just has one loss. Now, Top Rank, he'll be taking on a tough competition. And also, we'll get to see Charlie Sheehy, a fantastic, someone who had a fantastic amateur background out of Brisbane, California, which is like right next to San Francisco's Hunters Point. I mean, it's like the smallest little town right next to San Francisco. And Charlie Sheehy signed with Top Rank. And I'm looking forward to seeing this guy in person too, and potentially meeting him. I know that Lukey Boxing is very close to him. So hopefully, excuse me, guys, that pans out. And we'll see everybody in the building, man. Drew.
So, Nando, don't you think she's gorgeous?
Nando, you still with us?
Yeah, I wasn't trying to interrupt you guys.
No, man. I appreciate you, man. We're going to be wrapping up this show now, but
all right. Thank you for taking my phone call, Dave. Thank you,
I appreciate you, man.
Drew, one last thing. Hey, Drew, you want to make a $10 bet on Spence versus Bud?
Nah, I think they're gonna somewhat. I think there's a play that they're gonna somewhat rob him. If there's, I just don't trust Reinsfeld.
Homie. All good, homie. Hey, you guys enjoy the fights, man. Thank you.
I will, man. You have a great fight weekend to everybody, no matter what you're going to get into. Appreciate everyone who tuned in today to the Shoe Shine. Boxing Vital says, Charlie is a good kid. I've been around him. Yeah, that's what I've heard, too, from Lukey Boxing. I'm looking forward to his development. And there's a lot, Top Rank does that so well, Drew. They scout the right kids that they think are going to have a great professional career, and they build them up right. They build them up the right way. You're in good hands, and I think Charlie Sheehy, in every fight, you want to see development with prospects. Shout out to D Styles today. D Styles had the fighter I just saw on Showtime that I was at that fight where I talked about Carroll. What's his name, guys? Help me out. But I just saw on the 6'2" welterweight. He talked about sparring with Terrence Bud Crawford. I mean, hopefully, at PBC, that they'll bring him along the right way, and that's every single fight he's learning something new, right?
5'10" gate.
Huh?
5'10" gate.
All right.
I'll be honest with you, man.
Chicano Profits, before we get off, says Drew ducked a $10 bet. Must be nervous about his prediction. Why don't you make that fight bet on public on Twitter? So we could have something to talk about on Monday. All right, Sin City Syndicate. I hope that I'll finally meet you. You know where to find me. I'll be at the Palms on Friday night.
Make sure you get a picture together.
Saturday night, I'm doing something crazy. You guys aren't going to know until Monday, and it doesn't have anything to do with the sport of boxing. I might have some video clips. I'm doing something crazy. Got invited to a really cool VIP party, and it has nothing to do with boxing. That's all I gotta say. So make sure you stay tuned, because I might show you video clips of Friday night. Fonzie, hopefully Carol will come out. Everyone who said that they're coming out, make sure send me a message at shoeshine_boxing if you're going to be out here in Las Vegas this weekend. I would love to have drinks with you. Drew, your final thoughts on this weekend that just passed and the Inoue Fulton?
Man, I'll be at Friday night. I'll be home getting ready for OT the next day, making money and everything. And end of the day, man, like, I don't know. I don't know. I just like some shit leaves me speechless, because it's just like we're gonna be hearing the excuses Monday and everything about this fucking bullshit fight.
Boxing Vital says Drew Esparza is currently dating Chris Mannix, and if Drew had made his way to Las Vegas this weekend, he probably could have met Alicia Bumgarner.
Wow, I thought Chris Mannix was gay. Okay.
I'll have to cut that part out. You say anything against that guy, he'll have you blocked on Twitter. Thanks a lot for joining us, everyone. Mom Food Planet Things, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you guys next Monday on the Shoe Side. Everyone have a fantastic pay-per-view weekend. We'll see you later. Peace out, everybody.